So they came as they had gone, only a little more reluctantly, back to their respective workhouses. That is, they all came back except a certain segment of the band and the cheerleaders who had been snowbound in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Out of the blinding blizzard roared the Wildcat Special, with 275 newborn cowpokes aboard. On their way back from Pasadena, the train had been stranded by snowdrifts in Cheyenne for 2.5 days. Within a few hours after their arrival, the Northwestern routers had turned the peaceful town into a rip-roaring dude ranch. They took over the moving picture theater and staged their own variety show. They had a big dance in a hotel ballroom and, in general, made themselves at home. One of the citizens remarked that his father had told him about the time the gold rush went through the town, and then he confided, "But it warn't nothing compared to this." But the train did get through, and all of our classmates were back in the fold at last. But it was some time before we could coax them to take off their cowboy hats, and the Cheyenne adventure is still a topic of conversation. The Dolphin Show, the annual aquatic classic played in Patton Pool to capacity audiences. The show was called Hey Rube, and Bill Huesner, Chuck Shelly, Shirley Brown, and a host of swim stars pooled their talents to make the show a real splash hit. University Theater was working overtime to produce 2 plays, The Taming of the Shrew, starring Mary Boatner and Randall Krell, and All My Sons, starring Molly Darr and Claude Akins. The plays were again well done. They proved that they could handle William Shakespeare and Arthur Miller equally well. On the social calendar, the prom was the prominent thing. The annual junior prom was held in the Stevens Hotel and featured smooth dance music and marvelous entertainment. The judges had a typically tough time selecting a queen, but lovely Sally Hobson of Alpha Phi was awarded the crown. Basketball season, not to be overlooked, was drawing to a close about this time, and the team did a tremendous thing. They grabbed their place in the conference and held on to it all season. No matter what team they played, they couldn't be ousted from that spot. Last. The erstwhile Wildcats won only 2 games in the conference, but one of them was against the team that had just beaten St. Louis, Ohio State. This was a tremendous upset and certainly gave the team a boost in prestige, if nothing else. Nevertheless, it was a pretty good team. Most of the games they lost were close ones. Bill Stickland's leaving this year, but with Ray Regalis and a bevy of promising boys returning, we'll look for a good team next year. And with the closing of the basketball season came the openings of hundreds of books for a rigorous review. It was another one of those things. Exam week. Lift that book and tote that pencil. Then the resurrection. Spring vacation. A new lease on life. Of course it was a short-term lease, and all too soon we were dispossessed from our homes back to school, but spring at Northwestern is a delightful thing, especially from the North Quad's point of view. The co-eds seem to blossom like the flowers, and all nature kind of turns green with envy. The campus itself takes on a fresh sort of ivy-covered look, and the beaches lure those who have no class to enjoy its sandy comfort and cool lake breezes. The sophomore cotillion drew a large number of students to the Edgewater Beach Hotel. Those who attended elected instead of a queen, a hello girl. A girl who was supposed to be the epitome of friendliness. The girl they elected was Rusty Hopeful of Kappa Kappa Gamma, and the dance was one of the most successful of the year. Thanks, sophomores, for a wonderful party. I'm getting sentimental and feeling kind of blue, 'cause the evening's almost over. signs were going up all over the campus heralding the opening of the Waa-Mu show, this year to be called What's the Rush? Cast, crews, and orchestra were in a feverish rehearsal under the astute guidance of Joe Miller. University Theater raised the curtain on Androcles and the Lion, and the stars were Jerry Friedman, Stan Purdom, and Richard Shepard. The last UT production of the year was The Rivals with Stan Purdom. Waa-Mu opening night. Lucky students, faculty, and friends of the university made up a capacity crowd this night, as they did every night. They had come expecting to see not just a good show, but a stupendous show. For Waa-Mu has a nationwide reputation of being one of the top collegiate productions. Some of the songs were written by Lloyd Norland and Bill Stone, two composers that Waa-Mu goers remembered for their melodies in last year's show. The audience pushed the programs aside as the lights went down. Professor Bainham raised his baton, and this year's Waa-Mu show, What's the Rush, was on. So the Waa-Mu show was officially opened. It turned out to be a great show. It had the freshness and brilliance that have marked past shows as solid entertainment. The pace was terrific. It moved from one scene to the next so rapidly that the audience was dazzled from beginning to end. Mary Boatner as Calamity Jane was the most robust, roguerish, and radiant cowgirl we've seen in a long time. The dance team, made up of Mary Leachman and Louis Popovsky, sparkled throughout the performance. They were particularly delightful in the little skit entitled Going Dutch, with music by Bill Stone. In the Wishing Well, it was John Lagerlof and Dick Rector that captured the audience's praise of their fine singing and dancing. The show literally burst with stars. It's impossible to praise them all. One of the most humorously touching scenes was I Remember When, with Tim Kiley as the old professor talking to the graduates of his high school for girls.
I remember when, more than half was 10 feet back. Pencil back to 1 or 6 and a half. Today that old paper is back. I remember when, in the horse and buggy time, if an automobile made your hair stand on end, a haircut was only a dime.
Lovely Lois Lindgren was one of the brightest stars of the show. The audience was all hers, from the Vander Blues, I Like It Here, and So Little Time. And of course, we couldn't help but talk about this year's show without mentioning show-stopping Nancy Brown. She stopped every performance with her rubber-faced pantomime of a Spike Jones recording. The audience couldn't stop laughing till midway in the next scene. And so the show built up. Its lightning pace continued to the grand finale. And when I say grand, I mean grand. Another great Waa-Mu show. The May Sing was held in Town Auditorium this year because of spring rain. The girls all looked very pretty and had songs to match. Let's listen to part of the song that won for Delta 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 sorority, the first prize. The men's part of the annual thing followed 2 days later. An Alpha Tau Omega fraternity walked off with the cup and applause ringing in their ears for their fine vocal version of a popular song. Both the tennis and golf teams went into the conference meets as defending champions. The tennis team emerged still champion as Ted Peterson took the singles crown from Andy Payton of Michigan. The golf team emerged rather doggedly, but rather sunburned. Captain Chuck Lindgren commented, "My scorecard runneth over." But, though the baseball team turned out to be a sort of comedy of errors and wound up at the bottom of the heap, we were well satisfied with our athletic year. In intramurals, Phi Gamma Delta and Kappa Kappa Gamma for the third and fourth consecutive years won the sweepstakes trophy. I hear they're levying a special assessment for silver polish. Yes, it was a good year for athletics. In fact, a good year for everything. It's a year we'll leave behind reluctantly, in hopes that next year will be something like it. But as we go from Northwestern, a host of pleasant memories go with us. Memories of more than the big things, the beauty of our own school in every season of the year, the sound of the chimes in the evening, the din of a pep rally over the murmuring of the lake. It's a wonderful place, Northwestern, and from now, forever we'll speak in praise of our fair name.